Welcome to Group Coach Nation Live. All right, I got David Newman with us today. Super stoked to have David here. What we're going to do today is dive into two big categories. David is a marketing expert and genius. We're going to talk about separating yourself in the coaching space because now more than ever, be your freaking self. Don't go with the flow. Identify who you are and just roll. Okay, we're going to talk about how to actually practically do that. But first, I want to hear from David because, as you know, here at Group Coach Nation, we always interview people who have masterminds and group coaching programs and look under the hood and get to see how'd you build that thing. So, David, welcome. Quick introduction from you. I'm super thrilled to have you here, and then we'll get into it.
Excellent. Hi, Chris. Nice to be here. This is so fantastic. So my name is David Newman. I run a company called Do It Marketing. I've been doing this since 2002. That's right, which means I'm old, like older than dirt. This is crazy town. So I started group coaching probably back in 2012, 2013. First, I created some online courses. Then I realized, well, no one's doing the course and no one's getting results from the course. So then the course became secondary, live-led, cohort-based group coaching. Initially, not evergreen, just, hey, we're doing 8 weeks on this, we're doing 12 weeks on that. And that took me through, I would say, about 2017. 2017, I realized, wait a second, every month I'm starting at zero. So I needed something with monthly recurring revenue, the magic of monthly recurring revenue. So I started a entry-level group coaching program, and I started an elite level. The only difference between those two is income levels. So people below about $300,000 or $400,000 a year went into the regular. People above that $300,000 or $400,000 mark went into my elite program. And that had its ups and downs. At one point, I had 100 people in the basic program, 15, 16 people in the elite program. Lots of business model changes, lots of revenue, lots of stability, which I loved. And I then just, my current business is a little bit more bespoke. I still have my elite group, and I'm doing a lot more one-on-one with high-end founders, CEOs, executives, and entrepreneurs. But that's the whole story in a very compressed nutshell.
I love it. Okay, so if you had one piece of advice for people who are like either starting their group coaching or mastermind journey, or they're in the middle of it and they're banging their head against the wall because it's some work, we all know, if we're honest, what was the one piece of advice you give people who are like in the middle of this thing?
Retention, 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 and retention. That is 4 pieces of advice. People think getting members, getting clients is the hard part. Getting clients, believe it or not, and maybe this is my bias, Chris is a master of this. I've learned a couple things along the way, organic ads, etc. Getting clients, you can figure that out. I think where a lot of coaches blow it personally, professionally, and financially is the churn problem. So if I was giving myself advice from square one, because I kind of figured this out now today, thanks, but the dozens and dozens and dozens of clients that I could have kept but lost. I mean, this should give people chills. Folks that are watching, folks that are listening, imagine if everybody who gave you money, whoever gave you money, was still an active, current paying client. Where would your business be today? And that is a lesson. If I could turn back the clock, Chris, I would, yes, acquisition is important. I would say in 2025, 2026 and beyond, retention is the new acquisition. It's not about getting them. It's about keeping them, loving on them, make sure that they're bonded to you, make sure they're bonded to each other, make sure they're getting amazing results, make sure you're always painting a bigger, bolder, braver future, that sticking with you means they will get there faster, that you will shorten the path and accelerate the speed to get to level 2, level 3, level 7, level 17 with whatever journey they signed up with you for. Because when people feel they've outgrown your content, they leave your program. And I think that is such, now in hindsight, that is such an easy to solve, easy to avoid problem. please, please, please focus on keeping them, loving them, and having a long-term, long, beautiful relationship with them.
That is such good advice. And dude, you get credit for that quote. That is a really good quote to remember. Retention is the new acquisition. That is so legit. Dude. All right. Let's talk. By the way, David's website, if you want to go check that out, is, for those of you listening, I'm going to read it off. I know you're watching, you see it on the bottom screen. doitmarketing.com/hello. Go there. Tons of resources for you. You can contact David through all that. doitmarketing.com/hello. David, let's talk about this market imminence theme that you and I were talking about before we jumped on the call.
Yes.
Explain market imminence and kind of give us a little framework to work with about how do we separate who we are from the noise out there.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So so let's talk about the question that we're answering, or the problem that we're solving. Market eminence is my answer to the question of, what does it take to get you, your program, your business, your service, your brand, your cause noticed in a very noisy world? And my answer to that is market eminence, and it's got three parts. It's visibility, it is respect, and it's brand preference. So let me unpack those very quickly. Visibility simply means I see you, right? No one buys expertise. No one buys a group coaching program sight unseen. So job number one is for us to get seen. Number two, this level of respect, and what's going to separate you from all the other coaches and all the other group coaching programs, is if you can put in place messaging, content, marketing copy, resources, assets that simply convey, I get you. I understand what you're going through. In fact, I would say the overall purpose of marketing is to convey two and only two macro level messages. Number one, I get what you're going through. Number two, I can fix it, or I can help. So now we're resonating with them on a deeply personal level, that I understand your problems, I understand your conditions, your constraints, I know what you're up against, etc. And then the third piece of this, brand preference, is I want to work with you. I want to sign up with Chris Williams. Chris gets me. Chris understands where I am. He understands where I'm going. And the way that Chris has done this, and the way that most successful coaches do this with their group coaching program, not only are you positioning this in your prospect's mind as quote unquote the best, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but best is really hard to argue because you can't prove anything is the best. But what you can say is, it's risky, dangerous, and foolish to sign up with anyone else. Because of the visibility and the respect that you've built up, you are now making it risky, dangerous, and foolish to sign up with anyone else, because you are bonded to Chris, or you are bonded to me, or your people are bonded to you to such a degree that there's an allegiance, there's a loyalty. Before they've even spent a dime, you have given value far in excess of the little sliver of attention that they've bestowed upon you. That allegiance for attention equation, that's where you get this level of market eminence, where you become a category of one.
Mm-hmm. Wow, love it. How do you, this might just be me, okay? So Group Coach Nation, I know. Don't you wish you were here asking questions? I'm so sorry I'm the guy with the mic. This might just be me. When it comes to market separation, something I personally struggle with, even at the stage we're at now, which I always thought that, oh, when I get to this stage, that whatever the next big stage is, I always have thought, oh, it'll be so much different and easier or calmer in my mind or whatever. So I constantly struggle with every phase. But who am I? And am I good enough, likable enough, unique enough as my voice, the way I present, whatever, good enough to be seen as something special and different than everybody else? Because I look at the greats that I'm attracted to and I'm like, oh, but she's been doing this for 20 years and her webinars crush it. And I don't know how in the world I could ever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
How do I own who I am? I think that might be a first step before I can say something to the world out there.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So I want to lower the bar a little bit, because what you said, Chris, was, oh, so-and-so's been doing this for 20 years. So-and-so's a New York Times best-selling author. She has a huge email list of 100,000 people. I can't possibly compete with her. I'm just starting out, or I'm only at this for a couple of years. So the good news is, the truly good news is, most of our buyers, even people like you and me, when we take off our coach hat, take off our entrepreneur hat, put on our prospect hat, everybody is going around overwhelmed, lazy, busy, and befuddled. Their attention span is literally measured in seconds and minutes. It is not measured in hours and days. So there are certainly people that we look up to that are like 20 steps ahead of us in the coaching or the group coaching journey. But the fact that you're trying to capture attention from people who are lazy, busy, befuddled, and overwhelmed, all it takes is a little bit of resonance. All it takes is a little bit of insight where they feel that you have X-ray vision into their soul. And because, I'll tell you why lazy, busy, and befuddled is in our favor. They forgot the Facebook ad from last week. They forgot the webinar they were on 2 weeks ago from that super experienced New York Times best-selling author. If you catch people in the moment that they're struggling with this big problem or goal or dream or frustration or aspiration or whatever it is, they are much more likely to engage with you. And I don't mean they're going to buy your $20,000 or $30,000 program right on square one. They're going to be more likely to watch a live stream like this, more likely to opt into your email newsletter, more likely to raise their hand and book a call with you. So because there's this constant churn of noise, when they hear something that sounds remarkably different, completely customized because it has the X-ray vision into your soul, and specifically calling out to them, their situation, their circumstance, the way that they identify themselves, you being worried about, am I good enough? Do I have a New York Times best-selling book? Do I need a second or third PhD? My friends, you do not need a second or third PhD. You do not need a New York Times best-selling book. You need to be authentically you, and you need to understand your target market and their psychology and their problems and their frustrations and their wants and needs better than anybody else. So you convey that in a way that, again, it's risky, dangerous, and foolish to sign up with anyone else. Why would I sign up with anyone else when Chris Williams is singing my song? He's blogging about this. He's posting on LinkedIn about this. Every episode of his podcast is so helpful to me in building my group coaching business. Oh, no, but let me go sign up with some other group coaching guru. No, don't do that. Don't be stupid. So it's the person who shows up with consistency and value that is able to convey that X-ray vision into your soul. No one's counting PhDs, my friends. No one's counting New York Times bestsellers at that point.
Really good advice. Calm me down a little bit. Thank you. All right. We love leaving any episode we do, because we're all busy, as you just noted so well, with like, what is the one thing, other than obviously go to David's website, doitmarketing.com/hello, get resources, talk to David. What's the one thing, David, you would say, look, everybody here is building group coaching programs, relaunching, upscaling, doing whatever they're doing for the group coaching and mastermind programs. Marketing is a bear. It's noisy out there. What's the one thing you would say, look, if you're going to do one thing today or the rest of this week, here's what you have to figure out and execute on? What's the thing?
Totally fantastic. It is a different kind of content and a different kind of messaging that people need to be putting out there. And you can do this starting right now, the moment that you're done watching or listening to this podcast. The era of how-to information is dead. what I want you to start doing as soon as you're done with this podcast is refocus on 3 different aspects of your expertise. Aspect number 1 is how to think, not how to, but how to think about a problem, a situation, an obstacle, a goal that your target market has. Number 2 is we need to start shifting beliefs around what's actually true, how to separate the signal from the noise, how to bust some of the common myths. So the second kind of content is what to believe, and more importantly, what not to believe. So what are your own personal biases, insights, opinions, recommendations? Share your battle scars, share your war stories, what works, what doesn't. Stick a fork in the hype. Have a manifesto. Have a series of manifesto points that you shout loudly from the rooftops so you can be the strongest and clearest messenger of that message. And then the third component to really stand out, and this is all about messaging and what's on your website, what's on your LinkedIn, you can change all of these things this afternoon, is where to focus for what's coming next. Where do I need to focus to get ready for what's coming next? How can I see around corners? How can I avoid getting sideswiped or surprised or ambushed by what's coming next in my industry? So this is trend spotting. This is future casting. Those 3 items that I just mentioned, if you change everything in your messaging, positioning, packaging, and differentiation around number 1, how to think, number 2, what to believe, number 3, where to focus to get ready for what's coming next, you will stand head and shoulders above all of your competition.
Oh, that is so rich. I was running this morning and thinking about content we're creating. And Group Coach Nation, we're always pulling back the curtain here. We got nothing to hide from you. This is how you create content. It works. And I was just, we're always, I can picture a dozen times in the past 10 years when there's been some political, economic, environmental thing that makes people want to hold on and not do the thing they should be doing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that last one as well. Just okay, you got to get people moving regardless of whatever's happening in our world politics, or when we're recording this, tariffs are the big conversation.
Yeah.
We're still entrepreneurs. We're still coaches. We still got to help clients. We still got to change the world. It's our job to do that. And we got to get off our asses and get to it. So I appreciate the refocus here.
That's a great acronym also, Chris. Goya, get off your ass. Get off your ass. Goya, people. Goya.
You should leave it with that. All right. That's today's episode. Get off your ass. Thanks for coming. David, thank you. I don't want to go any farther because you've given so many helpful things to do. And I'm going to leave this on the screen. Let me just show you the website again. Resources, doitmarketing.com/hello. Go hang out with David Newman. David, thank you for giving us time. Thanks for letting us look under the hood. I really loved your quickly told story of how you got into the group coaching and mastermind space. It's a really common story, by the way, and all the bumps and bruises along the way. And I'm so thrilled you're willing to get bumps and bruises even today. Welcome
Absolutely.
to being an entrepreneur, right? All right, folks, you heard it here. Do work. We say this all the time, David, in our community. Do work, get results. Just please do the right work. And what David's telling you today is the right work. There's his website again, doitmarketing.com/hello. I'm going to leave the screen with the 3 points he just mentioned. Number 1, how to think. Number 2, you got to tell people what not to believe. Number 3, you got to tell them where to focus for what's coming next. Do those things. Reach out to David. Reach out here if you have questions. Great to see everybody. David, you freaking rock star.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. This was great fun.
Thanks for hanging out. All right, everybody, do the work, get the results. Just please do the right work. Talk soon.